2 days you had a very purposeful, meaningful, constructive engagement with each other. And I am sure that now you are all going back to your respective places, rejuvenated intellectually, rejuvenated morally, as well as rejuvenated socially. It will give you a lot of strength for your future and keep you in good stead. Finance is crucial to every endeavor of human being. And whichever endeavor, whichever enterprise, if you are not there, maybe because of ignorance of the people, those who are in those organizations, or maybe you have not been able to make them literate about the utility of what you are doing. Because cost management and accounting is so crucial to everything that human being does. I was just told that you had several verticals, several topics on which you deliberated: pharmaceuticals, agriculture, MSMEs, digitization. These are very, very important sectors of our Indian economy and, in fact, India's life. As far as your trade is concerned, what you are doing, you know better. And those of you who are young among this in the community, you have veterans with far more experience who will teach you, who will guide you, or maybe you can learn by observing them. To me, you are a section of crucial nation builder. Everything depends on optimum utilization of financial resources. And there, your role, I also heard that perhaps some leaders have advised or exhorted you to not only be in the sphere of just cost management and accounting, but also then be the part of the strategic thinking. I really wonder how come it has not come so far. Because one who knows how to manage how efficiently you manage your finance, which is the lifeblood of any enterprise, any endeavor, how they cannot be the part of the strategic community of that organization in the where decisions are taken about the shape and future of the organization. I think if it is not, again, either there is some kind of a lack of communication or lack of inadequate appreciation. Because you are just not in the business of just bookkeeping. You know, the theme I was looking at it, the changes in the business landscape. The change is happening everywhere, in all aspects of our life. And change is happening very fast. In the fast changing landscape, you have not only to keep pace with it, but many a times you should aspire to be the driver of change by being ahead of the curve. And how do you do that? Today, I heard we are also talking about digitization and all. You know, this technology is changing, is in a way that is at times looks overwhelming. By the time you get used to, you are getting used to, not even got used to, a particular technology, something far smarter is there. Now, in this kind of fast changing landscape, all of you, those who are in the crucial business of looking at the finance and its optimum utilization, I think you have to be versatile. You cannot just keep yourself within the silos of your trade so far. The element of your skill set has to be keeping yourself abreast with the latest technology, which is going to change the shape of the world, is going to change the way in which we conduct our business individually, in our personal life, in our family life, in our professional life. It's very, very important. And it may be difficult for the older generation, but certainly it should not be for those who are young or young entrants. Friends, I know, I am conscious of the fact that we are at the valedictory session. And everyone here is perhaps thinking about the next step, going back to your respective domains and destinations. As I told you that I am not here, I'm not competent enough to talk to you about your trade, the craft of your business. But certainly I would like to urge you, as a parting message, or you can call it an appeal to all of you, to keep in mind. You know, first of all, you need to be conscious of how crucial is your role. Many a times I've seen many of our professionals are not fully aware of, they don't even fully comprehend how important is their role. Because in the day-to-day business, they're doing the things, they believe that is the routine and that's what they do. But if you look at how crucial is your role, be conscious of that. Then I would urge you to be conscious of a contemporary context. The context is, of course, is the changing landscape. It is there. But in the context of our country, when we say that you are a crucial element of our nation building, then the state of the nation, where we are. You know, our country is at the cusp of a revolutionary transformation. Comprehensive transformation is happening in almost every domain of our individual and collective life. Impact of some are being felt, have started getting felt, getting palpable. Some are not yet, but these will be felt tomorrow. But we are passing through a revolutionary transformation. You all know that we are in the Amrit Kal of our country. And Amrit Kal, you all know that it is the next quarter century of our nation building. The next quarter century is important because by the end of it, we would be completing 100 years of our independence. And when India becomes 100-year independent, where should it be? The country is moving forward with a clear sense of destiny and a resolve to accomplish the destiny within the time frame. And what is our destiny? The destiny, as spelled out by the Prime Minister, is Atmanirbhar Bharat, Darsharpa Bharatam, self-reliant India, which would be the core, a strength of what he says is Ore Bharatam, Unnat Bharatam, Ek Bharat, Shreshth Bharat. And when we say Shreshth Bharat, what does it mean? And when we say Ek Bharat, what does it mean? Here, when I say that you keep that state of the nation in your mind, because many of the young professionals, young finance professionals, you would be there in 2047, mostly at the helm of affairs, and then you would be asking a question to yourself, what have you done to bring the country to achieve its destiny? What was your contribution? You would do the stock taking. This journey of next 25 years for all of us, we are all uniquely placed to be a witness and a partner both of this revolutionary transformation. But those who are young, you have a special responsibility. You have long-term planning. And you have to move forward with that determination. When we say Shreshth Bharat, what does it mean? First of all, to have a full grasp of, an emotional grasp of what it means, you have to understand Bharat, what Bharat is. The Constitution of India, Article 1 of the Constitution says, India, that is Bharat. It doesn't stop at India. It doesn't stop at India, that is British India. It says India, that is Bharat. And unfortunately, there has been not adequate understanding of this Bharat. And when we say Shreshth Bharat, what does it mean? I don't know how many of you are aware that India was the economic powerhouse of the world till 18th century. From the 1st century till 18th century, India was the most dominant economic power in the world. This is there in the OECD report. OECD had commissioned a study which was provoked by a study presented by Paul Barroch, an economic historian. When Paul Barroch said in 1972 that Europe became rich in last 200 years, America became rich in last 100 years. Until then it was India which was the economic powerhouse of the world. The OECD countries, they were very skeptical. It was difficult to believe. They wanted to reject and denounce that report. And so they commissioned a study under the chairmanship of Professor Angus Madison. And the committee led by Angus Madison published a report which is available on the net. World Economy, a Millennial Perspective. The World Economy, a Millennial Perspective, it tells about the economy of the world from the 1st century onward. And you should be proud that till about 12th century, India was more than 33% of the global GDP was India's. And even till 18th century, it was about 28% of the global GDP. There was no America, there was no Europe. China was the next. Now what happened in the last 200 and odd years, 250 years? When we say about Shrestha Bharat, what we mean is, can we go back and restore the glory of that Bharat, which was the leader of the world, economic powerhouse of the world, the most advanced country in the world. If it was there for 1800 years, and if it has not happened, and if the damages have happened in the last 250 years or so, it is not something which is irretrievable. It is not something which cannot be undone. But this can be done only with the right spirit, with the emotional involvement of each and every one of us. And that emotional involvement comes only when we know what Bharat was and what we mean by Bharat. Which was the Bharat which was the economic powerhouse of the world for 1800 years. Because a country which was the economic powerhouse of the world could not have been just economic powerhouse. There must have been a strong, robust education system, technology system, everything which helped India to be the economic powerhouse. So, it is important that we, especially, I'm addressing to the younger people, to spend some time in understanding what is Bharat. And to understand Bharat, you cannot understand from the Western notion of a nation state. Because India, this Bharat has been unique. First of all, people of this country did not call themselves Indian. India's was only when the British came and they started calling, and they started teaching us English, we started calling it India. All our ancient literatures only talk about Bharat. When Mahakavi Bharati mentioned about Bharat Mata, Sepu Modi Padanet Odiyal, Anil, Chintanai Ondru Odiyal. This Bharat, he didn't say about India. When he talked about Bharat, it says, Vedam Ulayad Indanal, Nalla Veerar Pirinda Indanal, Chedamillada Hindustanam, Ida Daiva Menru Kumbittadi Papa. When Bankim Chandra Chatterjee sitting in Bengal, he talked about Bande Mataram. He talked about Bharat Mata. What is that Bharat? If you understand, you feel, you have a feel for it. This Bharat cannot be understood with the Western notion of a nation state. Because Western nations, Western countries were not created the way Bharat emerged. Western states were created by force. How was America created? United States of America? We all know. It's not too far back in history. Some people from the Britain went over to America, North America, captured the territory, killed the natives, subsequently annihilated the natives, captured, settled, and United States of America emerged. Canada emerged in the same way. It was the first French. Later on, British went and they chased the French out and they occupied it. Most of the countries of Europe have also born out of force. There was some Bahubali, some powerful man who controlled, who captured the territory and made it. Bharat was never built or ever ruled by one ruler. And that is why many people who are trained in the Western notion of, of the nation state, they ask you, what are you talking about, governor? Tell me who was the ruler who ruled the India at one point of time. I don't blame their ignorance, because this is how they have been trained. 2005 years ago, when Adi Sankaracharya went from south to Badrinath, Josimath, there were many kings and kingdoms, rajas, maharajas. He didn't bother about them. He went and built that. He went to the west, set up in Dwarka. In the east, he went to Puri. They were not concerned about the rulers, kings in between. The society was one. When a little later Ramanujacharya moved from here, he went to Kashmir. He went to Kamrup, which is Assam today. Did he bother about which kingdom he was passing through? He didn't. 2,400 years ago, during the time of Chandragupta Maurya, the most powerful ruler of Maurya dynasty, with the capital at Patliputra, his Rajguru, Bhadrabahu, with 12,000 disciples, Shramanas, he marched from Patliputra, came to Mysore, near Sravan Belgola, established his mutt there. All the kings of the south patronized him, welcomed him. Bhadrabahu did not care about which was the kingdom he was passing through. From time to time, people from one end have moved to the other and created institutions of unity. We all know that Buddhism in China was taken from India. How? Of course, Buddhism everywhere went from India, because this is the birth of Buddhism. So how did Buddhism go to China from here? It was a Pallava prince in the early centuries of the first millennia who renounced, like Gautam Buddha, his position to be the anointed as a king. He left. He went with his about 1,000 people. He went to Nalanda, studied there. He became Acharya. He was christened as Bodhidharma. He taught there. He came back and he went by sea route to China. And the Chinese ruler embraced him, gave him the place at Shaolin where he built the monastery. We have seen the Shaolin monastery in the film. Those of you who have gone there, you see their writing at the Shaolin monastery gate, how Bodhidharma went from here and he established the monastery. It was when he went from here to Nalanda, he didn't bother about who was the king. It was the philosophy that went from Bharat to China was by a person who went from one end of the India, one end of Bharat to the other, studied and went abroad. "600 years ago, a great saint from Assam, Kamrup, Mahapurush Shankardev, he lived for 119 years. At the age of 30, he came to this land, what today we call Tamil Nadu. He went to Rameshwaram, he studied. It was a great center of learning. He came to Kanchipuram, that was a great center of learning. He studied there also. And then he went back to Kashi. He studied there. And then he went back to Kamrup. And the first poem that he composed was Dhanya Dhanya Bharat Bhumi, in praise of Bharat. Nearly 550 years ago, Guru Nanak Dev came from Punjab, which is today it falls in Pakistan, in fact. He came all the way. He came to Rameshwaram. He came to all the places in the country, north to south, east to west. He was inspired by the Bhakti movement, which was initiated here by Alwars and Nayanmars. Nearly 400 years ago, when from Dharmpuram Adhinam, Kumar Gurbar, when he went to Kashi and he set up Kedariswar temple, There he recited Kambar Ramayana, and Tulsidas was so influenced that he composed Tulsi Ramayana. Numerous, there is no end to the stories. To understand Bharat. So, this, if you understand this country, this nation, and you feel for it, whatever you do, wherever you are, whichever field you are, in your personal, professional, organizational, whichever capacity you are, do things for your benefit, your prosperity, but keep in mind that what you are doing, it is also going to build the nation. I was told 5 trillion economy. 5 trillion economy might look, by a statistical calculation as if it is by this rate, how to achieve and all that. I know there are technical difficulties it can be. It is well appreciated. But I don't think when we have a dream of 2047 where the India should be, the 5 trillion is enough. This country has been achieving incredible targets in the last few years. We have seen in various fields. Every field which we have chosen, we have crossed the target, we have gone beyond that. This is the strength of our people. Because there has been a fundamental change in the way we look at our nation and the way we look at its destiny. At the national leadership, this change is so manifest. We don't look at this nation as conglomeration of different people inhabiting different geographies, living together, and maybe governed by Constitution of India. Bharat is much, much older than the Constitution of India. Constitution of India did not create Bharat. British did not create Bharat. In fact, British, when they left, they had left it a highly moth-eaten Bharat with about more than 565 independent countries within India. They never thought that this country would survive. Thanks to the genius and boldness of Patel, that all this, its territorial integrity was restored, notwithstanding the fact that the part was cut off through partition. Today, the national leadership looks at this country not as a geography, not as at a place where different people live, but as a one family. Diversities are variations. They are variations with an underlying unity. The unity which recorded history tells you since the time of Adi Shankaracharya, all through the history. This is a family. And we have to restore the glory of this family. Earlier thinking of this being a geography which the British wanted us to believe, it led us loss of territory in POK, loss of territory to China, in Aksai Chain, to China. No, no longer. Every inch of this land is a part of our being. We cannot say that our little finger is less important. If something happens to it, the whole body suffers. We cannot let that happen. And that is why all the attempt today is to see that the country as a whole progresses. That is why the most crucial things like health, education, infrastructure, absolutely there is no discrimination between which state is governed by which political party. And even because the earlier mode of development was essentially Darwinian. When you had a limited resource, smarter people, they got more resources and they developed, so there was a lot of regional imbalances. South developed, North did not, West developed, East did East did not. And even in the areas which were developed, there were a lot of sub-regional imbalances. We know in Tamil Nadu itself, which is a very, very progressive state, you have a lot of areas far, far behind, even the national average. And that is why, with a comprehensive development, all-inclusive development, the concept of aspirational district came. We too have about 3 districts in Tamil Nadu which are aspirational. Means the districts which are behind, they have to be uplifted. We have about 120 districts in the country which are aspirational, to which a special attention is being given, irrespective of which political party is ruling in that state. Those districts have to come up, catch up with the most advanced in the state. We don't look at this country in terms of narrow political interest. We don't look at this country in terms of diversities as differences. We look at the country as a family and diversity as beautiful variations. We are about 300, 200, 300 people sitting here. None. I mean, no two of us are alike. We are all different looking. But essentially, there is something common among all of us that keeps us united. Not only by way of your profession that you are a member of cost management and accounting family, but the fact much deeper than that. This Bharat lives in us, in our heart. It lives us subconsciously. Make it conscious. It lives us in our day-to-day rituals in our houses, which we perform without being conscious of it. Just be conscious of this Bharat. And then you will feel the urge. And with your urge will come the change that will transform the country, that will transform the nation to its destiny. Friends, you are at the end of the 2 days. I don't wish to take you more time. Go back to wherever you are, wherever you came from. Be happy. Take care of yourself. Take care of your families. Take care of your profession. While doing all this, think in the back of your mind about the nation, about the country, about the Bharat. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.